worldwide. Every weight class. It's Lewis Heaton. Whiskey Bynum. It's the Boxing Rush Hour Show, hosted by Abraham Gonzalez. You know what you came for? Yes, indeed. This where you come to get your info. Listen up. Other shows throwing the towel. It's the Boxing Rush Hour Show. Let's go. In the ring we throw hands, octagon elbows. Analytical, critical commentary is necessary. A bevy of opinions, we heavy on the winning. This podcast is to break down the pay-per-view. For boxing purists, you'll let this man through. We rise right, surprise sight at the prize fight. Hands taped up and gloves tied tight. Ring the bell, want some, get some. Let the chips pour where they may. Work the George Crumb.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to the Boxing Rush Hour Show. I have some exciting news. I'm thrilled to announce my partnership with BetStamp and Sign Up Expert, opening up an incredible opportunity for you to join some of my favorite sports books. With the packed boxing schedule coming up, there's no better time than now to get started. Head over to my dedicated page at signupexpert.com/fightsatw to explore a selection of sports books tailored to your region, each with unique offerings. If you're ready to take your sports betting to the next level and show some love for my brand, I highly recommend signing up for your next sports book through my Sign Up Expert link. You can easily find it in the description below. All right, Tim, how's it going?
Good, very well, thanks.
Good seeing you again. You're a guy, and I'm going to say this because I truly believe this. You're a guy that's like an ambassador for the term activity matters, because you want to be in that ring as much as possible. How hard was it to not allow yourself to get caught up in the fact that you only fighting for the second time this year?
Yeah, it's, usually twice a year is not too bad, actually, but 3 times a year would have been ideal. It still could be ideal, it's never say never. But yeah, I think activity matters. That's where growth happens, consistency. So yeah, that's I'm all about growth, and that's what I want.
Yeah. All right. And then I saw, going to Thailand, getting some work in with your dad appeared to be a special moment for you and him. Did you catch your father having any like proud dad moments where it made you feel good as well inside?
Yeah, I'm sure it did. He'll be attending the fight, so it'll be good. First time seeing him at the second time seeing him at that fight since my first fight. But yeah, it was a cool experience, and to be picking his brain but just connecting as father and son more importantly.
Yeah, no doubt. And then I'm gonna ask you this: what was more impressive, seeing your father train at 55 or seeing him shadow boxing Crocs?
You know what? They're both pretty impressive, man. You got moves no matter what.
I saw him wearing Crocs. I was like, Jesus, this guy here. All right. You have a shot at the IBF title on October 19th against Bakaram Muratazilev, however you say it. Does this feel like it'll be the type of fight that fans are accustomed to seeing when they see a Tim Tszyu fight, meaning all action, come forward type of fight? Is that what you're kind of expecting?
That's what I'm bringing, man. So expect that from me. I'm gonna bring the heat. I'm not here to tip tap. We're here to punch on.
Yeah, and what's the lasting impression that you want to leave with the fans going to the Caribe Royale in Orlando, Florida? Because that's become a nice little fight town over there, and they're really into their fights there. And so, what's the lasting impression you want to leave with those fans at the end of the night?
Just like wow, we experienced this. Like everyone that came out of my last fight was like, wow, what was that? I want people to be sort of speechless.
Yeah. All right. And then once that happens, what message do you want to send to the rest of the division that's going to be watching? Because they are going to be watching.
The champ is back. Simple.
Yeah. And Jamel Charlo's going to be watching too.
100%.
Oh man. And then lastly, Tim, you fighting in Orlando, this is going to be kind of like the first time you're doing this. I know, Vegas would have been ideal, but you're going to Florida. Um, anything that you look forward to fighting on the East Coast this time around, for a title fight that's so significant?
Yeah, it's just like for me, it's just important to travel and fight around different parts of the world. Like I think it's so cool, like we're in this sport for such a short period of time. We get to travel the world and see everything. So yeah, I'm very keen to see Orlando, Florida, and fight there because the fans there apparently are big boxing lovers, and that's what it's all about.
All right, well, listen, Tim, I appreciate your time, and I wish you the best of luck on Saturday. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into the Boxing Rush Hour Show. My next guest is middleweight prospect coming up. He's going to be on a show next Friday on DAZN in Puerto Rico, live from Puerto Rico. Devell Smith, 9-0, 7 KOs, 24-year-old. What's going on, Devell? How you doing?
I'm doing great. In camp, at the end of the camp, just ready to fly out and do my thing.
All right, and so not too many people, may or may not know about you, right? So just want to get a quick understanding of who you are, growing up, and what that looked like, from where you're from.
I'm from Inkster, Michigan, born and raised, but I fought out of Detroit, Michigan my entire life. So I'm a Detroit fighter. And growing up, my childhood was straight boxing. Get out of school, straight to the gym, come home, take a shower, go to bed, repeat from 8 to 15 years old. Um, I have a huge amateur background. I fought maybe a couple tournaments in a year, nothing major, but a lot of experience from a lot of great fighters being in the ring with them. Um, it's pretty much.
Yeah, and how was it growing up in the part of Michigan that you grew up? Maybe folks don't necessarily know what it's like there. Everybody has their own background. So, what was it like growing up there?
I grew up in the ghetto, simple as that. I mean, all of them are pretty much the same. You got a lot of BS going on around you, but me personally, I was busy. I was a busy kid. I was in the gym. I was traveling. I had tournaments to go to. I had championships to win. I wasn't focused on what was going on outside of the gym at all. I wasn't a normal kid. I couldn't go hang out with my friends and play basketball and eat junk food and have fun. I was focused from a very young age, and I knew what I wanted.
And so, when did boxing become real for you? So you said you started at 8 years old. Obviously, at eight, you didn't necessarily know exactly what you wanted. You had to been directed or put in that direction. How did all that come about?
Hmm. Just being around a lot of really good fighters. When I first started boxing, the first really good fighter I was around was Eric De Leon. And I wanted to be just like this guy. I mean, he was amazing. He would go to every gym and smash every opponent, and he would do it in style. At that time, I think he won one or two Golden Gloves already. He was only 16, 17 years old. This dude was my idol. I was trying to be just like him. I ended up training with the same coaches he had, and I wanted to be really good like Eric. So from there, I start taking the sport serious. I was losing a lot at first. I really, really wanted to win, so I just went harder. I locked in even more, and I won my first tournament ringside. And then I think I was 9 when I won that. And after I got that first belt, I knew what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, for as long as I could do it. I wanted to be WBC champion since I was 9 years old. That's all I can think of to this day.
All right. And then, being a pro now, 3 years, or so, what have you learned that you may not have known coming into the pro ranks initially?
Finances. I thought you turn pro in boxing instantly rich. That's not the case, man. Um, another thing, just levels, man. It's definitely levels to this. I came in thinking I could just get in there with the best fighters, the champion, and just dominate. And that's definitely not the case. You know, it's levels to this. You got to get in there. You got to put the work in. And yeah, really those two.
Okay. All right. And then, I've seen that you've been repping the iconic crunk colors on your trunks. They've been worn, those colors been worn by some of boxing's best fighters. Has that part sunk in a little bit in for you, knowing that there's some legends out there that rep those same colors at one point in their careers?
Yes, most definitely. It's an honor to wear those colors in a fight. It feels really good. In fact, I was just talking to a fighter from Detroit, and he was really big. Not gonna name drop or nothing, but he was like, man, he's like, you lucky you had them trunks. So he's like, I ain't never get to wear those trunks. And I'm like, man, you didn't? I'm like, dang. So yeah, just things like that, it really makes you notice and appreciate, wearing those colors. The greatest fighters from around here put those on. So I feel like I'm one of them at this point.
That's what's up. Now, you're fighting in Puerto Rico on the zone, both big opportunities to show off your talents, one to the crowd there and the streaming platform that's worldwide. Does that add any pressure on you on coming on the 18th?
No, no pressure. I just go in there and I focus on what I'm doing. And I train hard and everything is just gonna come to me. Simple as that. I don't worry about all the talk, all the media. Of course it play a huge part, but I got tunnel vision. I'm focused on one thing, that's being a champion one day.
And being a pro fighter, like how have you been handling being like a family man with a little one and keeping the disciplines of a pro fighter? Because that's not easy, especially for a young fighter coming up.
Right. I do things like bring my family to camps with me. Um, Sometimes I bring my family to the gym with me just so they could see the hard work that I'm putting in. And it definitely translates to home, just watching boxing at home. My son, he 1 years old, he watch a whole 12-round boxing fight with me, with his boxing gloves on, throwing punches. It's a beautiful thing just to be able to, have support from my fiance and from my family to, keep me going in this boxing world.
All right. And then you're fighting a guy with a ton of experience. What will fans be saying about you when they leave the arena come next Friday?
You're gonna say, man, that DeVille Smith kid, he can box. He got long arms and he got a lot of power. Did you see the way he moved his feet? Oh my God, he has everything. He's gonna be a champion one day. That's what they're
Oh,
gonna say.
all right. And then lastly, the middleweight division is wide open. Not really too much noise going on there. What should fans expect from you next year going into a division that is seemingly wide open for anyone to get in there and do their thing?
A lot of big fights. That's what I'm looking forward to. A lot of big fights to where I can really put all of my skills on display. And I know I'm fighting journeyman now, so I can't really show that everything that I could do. But in them big fights, you will see the real me. Like when I'm in the face of adversity, I get better and better and better. So
All right. Well,
expect
listen.
that next year.
All right. Well, listen, Devel, I appreciate your time and I wish you the best of luck in Puerto Rico next Friday.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Boxing Rush Hour show. My next guest, he's a super lightweight prospect, Joshua James Pagan, goes by JJ Pagan, 10-0, 4 KOs, 24 years old, out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. He's going to be main eventing now on Friday, October 18th in San Juan, Puerto Rico at the Coca-Cola Music Hall, live on the zone. Joshua, or do you want me to call you JJ? Either way, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you? Whatever you want, JJ or Joshua. Fine.
Okay, let's go with JJ then. It makes it a little bit easier. All right, JJ, listen, I appreciate you coming on. I know you got a fight coming up in less than a week. Uh, for those that may not be familiar with you, give us a little bit of a bio blast of you, the person growing up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and what that was like.
Yeah. Okay. I grew up, just always with an interest in boxing. You know, uh, first we always used to gather our family at the house to watch the big fights. I always had a good childhood. Uh, we just all loved boxing. We loved watching the sport. The first big fight that I watched was Mayweather versus De La Hoya when I was 7 years old. So like just watching that fight, that really got me into it. So that was the only sport that I did when I went to being in middle school all the way to high school. Like I didn't do any other sports. I didn't do any other activities, no partying, no drinking, no drugs. I just had a vision. And with the guidance of my dad and my mom and my siblings, I got to where I am right now. So I'm very grateful for them.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask that because I know that I think I heard something about your father was a fighter as well. So did that have heavy influence as a young kid coming up to maybe do that as well because he was a fighter too?
For sure. I always wanted to be like my dad. I looked up, I look up to him so much. So knowing that he used to box and just knowing that he used to do that, it made me very interested from that point on. And then just watching the Mayweather versus De La Hoya fight that night, that's what really glued me in. That's what really there's no turning back from that.
And was there ever a point during that time, like, you started at that age and then was there ever a point in that journey while going through the amateurs where, maybe you might have lost a little bit of interest, but then at one point it really like stuck to you, like this is what I want to do, period. I don't want to do anything else. What point was that for you, if there was?
Yeah, I lost my first three fights as an amateur. So I started off 0-3. So I didn't know what the future held for me. I was like, I don't know if I should do this anymore. So I just stuck with it though. I went back to the gym. I kept training and kept studying, watching all the legends of the sport. Started winning fights, and that's what really kept me going. It really drew me in. So I was like, this is what I want to do.
And who is JJ Pagan outside of the ring for those that are interested in knowing, getting a little bit of a peek of who you are, JJ the person?
I mean, I'm a nerd. You know, I like love video games. I love uh, movies. I just love I love watching sports. I'm a homebody. I go to the gym, come home, I'm playing my game or just relaxing. So just very very simple person. I'm not out here partying. I'm not out here doing all kinds of stuff. I just like being home and just playing my game. That's my idea of a good time. So
All right. And then you fought 5 times last year. But this is only your second fight. Just kind of
yeah.
curious on what changed from last year to this year that reduced the number of fights that you've had.
Yeah, so beginning of the year I was supposed to fight in February. That fight fell through like the week of the fight. So I was just like, okay, stay in the gym, keep training. Then I ended up getting just a slight injury, sciatica in my back. So I had to take some time off for that. Ended up fighting in May, got cut, obviously, and then was gonna fight in July again, but the cut didn't really heal up fully like I wanted it to. So now we're here about to fight October 18th.
Yeah, and I wanted to get that point out because sometimes folks, they just don't know like the inner workings and what happens, like real life stuff happens, injuries happen, cuts happen, and that can delay someone's activity level. So I wanted to make sure that people understood that, and I appreciate you being honest about that. Training camp for this fight specifically, where'd you have it, and did you add anything new to this camp specifically, whether personnel, whether you know, exercises or whatever the case may be? Did you add anything to it, and where did you mostly have your camp at?
I mean, knowing that we're fighting a 10 rounder, you know, we stepped everything up. We adjusted our training. We got more on the schedule, knowing exactly what days to train, what days to take it lighter. Just because that's very important. You have to know when to rest your body, when to listen to your body, and everything, especially when the rounds get higher and stuff. So, we spent our camp. We went to Vegas. We spent a couple weeks in Vegas. Came back, trained mostly in Grand Rapids, and then since Sunday we've been here in Puerto Rico, just closing out the camp. Getting the last couple of days of sparring in, and just now we're just tapering down and you know, getting the weight down, and which hasn't been too hard because it's really hot over here in Puerto Rico. But yeah, it's been a great camp though.
All right, and then your father is your head trainer, correct?
Yeah, my father and I have another coach named Steve Maniaci.
Okay, and then so how has that been? Because you know the father-son relationship in boxing that can be either really really good or it can be you know so-so because you know there's no divide between you know the father the trainer and then you know the father, right? And so
Yeah,
how has that been for you guys so far?
it's been great, honestly. We know when to turn on the boxing and then turn it off. You know, we've been doing this for over 11 years. He's been by my side, you know. And what makes him such a great coach too is he's willing to learn from everybody. Because you know there's a lot of coaches out there that they don't want their son working with somebody else, or you know, they're just very stuck in their ways. But my dad is the complete opposite of that. We love going to different places. We love learning from different people, you know, no matter the coach or the fighter, you know. So that's where we really thrive is our openness to learn new things, you know. So we have a great relationship.
All right, that's what's up. All right, so you're main eventing in Puerto Rico on Friday. It's at the Coca-Cola Music Hall. It's a big deal because if I'm not mistaken, your father's from Puerto Rico and you have family there, correct?
Yeah.
So what does this mean to you being able to do that is at such a early part of your career where you're main eventing somewhere where your family roots are from?
You know, it means the world to me. You know, I'm gonna have a lot of family here on fight night, you know, rooting me on and everything. And you know, I wish my grandfather was alive to watch this because he's been my supporter since day one. You know, he passed away 4 years ago, but he said no matter what happens, just keep training hard, keep following your dream. You know, you're gonna do something with it. So I know he's watching down on me right now, and he's very proud of me. So you know, it means a lot. It's very personal to me. I'm out there representing my family and my grandfather, most importantly.
All right, that's awesome, man. Lastly, what should people expect on October 18th? And what is your 2025 vision?
You can expect a great performance, the best version of myself. You know, mentally focused, physically. You know, I'm just an all around great performance, and I'm looking forward to it a lot. And my vision for 2025 is to just stay active, uh, keep keep progressing, keep fighting you know, the tough fights and building that experience, and you know, just going from there.
All right. Well, listen, JJ, I appreciate your time and I wish you the best of luck in Puerto Rico on Friday the 18th.
Thank you for having me, Abe. I appreciate it.
All right.
It's the boxing rush hour show.